Welcome to Babel's Park, an autobiographical dystopia of a brainless cyber whore. You're listening to Chapter 3, Rods and Cones.
While scanning the text-to-speech files, I found this revealing conversation between Bob, Jack, and Dr. Marks.
Central Optical Database. Minutes of Thursday, 29th of February, 10:34 Central European Time. Search criteria. Bob's office, Bob, Dr. Marks, Jack, Nips, Mr. Tanaka, and corny jokes.
What do you think about telling some jokes while warming up with the Nips? For example, the British ambassador asks his Chinese colleague anxiously, "Do you have elections?" He replies placatingly,
"Oh yes, every morning."
Jack, old jokes are hardly going to be helpful. I doubt that's Tanaka's sense of humor. And please don't use ethnic slurs against people of Japanese descent.
"Okay Bob, but since the Japs are racists, here's what you could say to him during your sushi lunch. You know why I'll never fuck a Chinese waitress again? Every time I wanted 69, she got up, went to the kitchen, and started cooking."
You didn't quite understand the purpose of the warm-up in your last sales training. Tanaka is our main investor, not some drinking buddy.
Perhaps you underestimate that almost all successful business is done on a relationship level. After lunch, you could arrange a traditional karaoke for him and have some kind of lip-sync afternoon with my latest cyber whores. Then they wouldn't need the patience of a tick waiting years for a return, but could soon see their money working. According to the motto, if you invest here, you can harvest right away.
Jack is right. We have to show something that is so convincing that Tanaka refrains from asking too many critical questions. If he were to back out, the whole project would be at stake. Aside from the mafia, we would then have no reliable investors. Bob, what's the status? I don't want to give him any lies.
Okay, Dr. Marks. I have some survey results here. Awareness of the park has increased by 30%. Every second unemployed person will visit us in the summer months.
Wasn't it a smart idea to donate 1 million tickets to social service agencies?
Yes, Jack, you have ideas. But you can't be let loose on investors because you lack some crucial extra-functional skills. That's probably why you were fired in Marne-la-Vallée. Please continue, Bob.
All our attractions are in operation. The crowds are enormous, especially for such favorite things as passport controls, exquisite stores, or the Palace of the Republic, where a virtual shadow cabinet is meeting and celebrating the last days of the GDR. Holograms of all party officials on stage and in the plenum.
Digitally existing socialism.
Please don't keep interrupting me, Jack.
Fraternal kisses, solidarity quotes, billboard ads, Plaste und Elaste aus Skopau.
Pardon me?
A graffiti sprayed on a bridge that crosses the old transit route from West Berlin to West Germany.
Okay, that reminds me of something. Visitors to the well-visited Trubby Railroad Bridge scratch their initials into the pillars. At least that's something.
What about the use of our entertainment services?
The game shows work best, but they are attended mainly by the oldies, who get a sort of nice old glow from consuming free Riesling at the shows. There are still reservations about going to the Take No Prisoners disco and having sexual contact with the staff. Perhaps the system is still too complicated.
Bullshit. Blame it on the Aussies, the former East Germans. As they say, the fox is smart and plays dumb, with the Aussie it's the other way around.
Thank you, Jack, for pointing that out. But fans of BDSM like to come on their casual Fridays and check out the torture chamber, while the more daring among them approach potential partners in their fetish outfits.
And in the restrooms, they can receive Radio West.
What about our cooperation with VTO?
On the right track. Your idea to outsource cybersex on virtual terminal online to professional home workers is being implemented step by step. By the way, did we get the cheap multimedia rights for the legendary Hollywood actors? Bookings for quickies with the clones Sharon, Michelle, Johnny, and Andy are top of the wish list, with Julia and Richard falling a bit behind.
The ethics committee will nod off early next week, at least on the versions from the 1990s, when everyone was crunchy.
Is the ethics committee still sitting next to the genetic research guys?
I think so. The one who pays sets the tune.
What about the current pop stars?
We can't afford them. Hang on, Bob. Is the color vision of our cyber clones working now?
I just used up the last of the cones yesterday.
Fantastic. Good work, Jack.
Will VTO be bought out and liquidated after they do their job?
Jack, our expert on minorities. Do you want to cover this because you have a particularly personal relationship with them?
Not really, but Tanaka might like this. A hen and a pig decide to start a joint venture. The hen lays eggs, the pig gets slaughtered.
Thanks, Jack. I'll see you later. Close the door from the outside, please.
If you go to the nips, don't forget the chopsticks.
Bob, how long do we have to keep the Nietzsche fan?
I'm not going to stab a chopstick in his back just yet.
Still under the impression of Victoria, I went off to look for Jack. My suspicions that it would not be possible to leave the tour route once booked were confirmed when I was denied access to the power tower to which Victoria had disappeared. Just as I was about to leave, a uniformed man suddenly towered over me and asked in a terrible German accent,
Could you tell me what you are doing here?
"I want to see Jack, probably your boss."
Do you have a visitor's permit?
"Are you a parking machine?"
Please answer my question.
Behavior was obviously not part of the programming for you security guys.
Don't get cocky.
He grabbed my wrist with a grip as hard as steel, covering my park watch. The moment contact was made, he froze in his motion like a living statue, and his eyes stared expressionlessly into the distance. Apparently, his palm was functioning as a reader for the data in my watch, which he was now evaluating. His right hand stretched out to the wall as if remotely controlled, where a flap opened above the display at about his head height, and he touched the tips of his parallel extended fingers to the same, but dully shimmering fingertips of an iron hand inside. The smiling cyborg sent and received a few kilos of bytes, as the display flashed transmitting data, and he said,
"So you are Annette. Jack is expecting you. Kindly follow the arrows on the display of your wristwatch.
There you go."
I wish you a pleasant stay."
I was released from his grip and mingled with the Japanese tourists.
You listened to the third chapter of Babel's Park. In the next chapter, Views of a Clone, Baby Lon makes a pass at David, who is only too happy to be seduced. Listen to the ad-free version on Apple Podcasts now. To learn more about Babel's Park, visit Dr. Kalasana's website fuckup.coach. And to let us know what you think of this series, we look forward to your review on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you.